I'm Dean, I'm the dad.
I'm Laura. I'm the mom.
And I'm Krys, I'm the daughter.
And together we are Family Plot. Very nice. Thanks for listening, as always. Welcome to the show. Let's get the housekeeping out of the way. First of all, if you want to help support us, there is Patreon, where you can do a monthly donation of $1 or $3 to help us out with, expenses, little things. And we certainly could use all the help we can get. Also, there is Buy Me a Coffee, which is just a dollar or two. However, with our Patreon for the next 3 weeks.
No, weren't we going to put it off and start it June 1st?
Oh, that's right. That's right.
So starting June 1st with the Patreon, the first 3 weeks, anyone who signs up to be a $3 Patreon
sponsor
will be put into a drawing, and one of those people will get an invitation to come and guest on an episode of Family Plot with us.
Yeah. And that'll be awesome.
Yippee! So from June 1st through June 21st, and then we will record a special short segment announcing the winner when we draw it on the 21st of June.
Yep. That's the way to go. Let's see. If you enjoy the show, please share it on social media.
Share it with friends.
Share it with families.
With everyone. And if you don't enjoy the show, please keep it to yourself. So tonight, like last week, the episode was born in the mind of our own mom, Laura.
Power.
All power.
Tonight we go back to the early 1800s, where a Chinese woman commanded a fleet of pirates for a decade before she retired, becoming a prominent Chinese citizen in this crazy story of Shang Yi, also known as Zheng Yi Sao, and her pirate fleet.
Yes, so I really felt like, as, mom of a bunch of children who want to be who they are, no matter what that is, that this was a great story to tell. And I had never heard of this Chinese pirate before I came across just a little meme about her on social media, and I thought that it would be an interesting story, and from what I have seen of our notes this week, sounds like it definitely is.
Oh, it's very interesting. The woman has more names than anybody I've ever met. So
imagine as a woman in the 1800s in China, and prior to the 1800s in China, that you probably had to do a lot of stuff to keep yourself out of trouble.
Oh, yeah, that's just it. She wasn't trying to keep out of trouble. She was just trying to survive, and that's different. So let me begin. The woman who had become known as Zheng Yi Sao was born in 1775 in Guangdong province. We know very little about her early life. In the late 1700s, China did not record births of ordinary citizens, and women were not a valued commodity, unfortunately. We believe that she was a member of the Tonka people. The Tonka people, and that may be pronounced the Tanka people, I'm not sure. But they lived on boats, and as such, often skirted the laws and customs of the ruling king dynasty at the time. And that king is spelled Quing. So, but I assume it's pronounced king. I didn't look it up, unfortunately. Now, at the time, the Tonka people were looked down upon. Um, that being said, we don't know how Zheng Yi Sao spent her childhood or even know much about her early life. It is also believed she worked as either a sex worker or perhaps a procurer on a Tonka boat. Procurers would arrange for prostitutes, alcohol, or other illicit goods for visitors.
Makes sense.
According to some stories, she was a madam. Whatever the case, she was believed to trade in information which she gained from the pillow talk of her wealthy and political clients. Either way, it eventually brought the young woman into contact with a pirate named Zheng Yi. Now, before I turn this over to Krista in her corner and we move on, I need to explain that Zheng Yi and Zheng Yi Sao, there's a reason that those two first names are the same. Once she's married, she is Zheng Yi Sao, which means Zheng Yi's wife.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's why it's the same first name. And that's why I had just a nightmare of trying to figure out.
Connect the dots.
Yeah. Well, that and to keep it so that people know who we're talking about. So, yeah. Anyway, fate eventually brings her into contact with a pirate named Zheng Yi. And that now, seems to me something's got to go here, like a corner.
Time for Christmas.
Oh, yes, it is. Time for Krista's Corner. Wait, hit the clap, not the slap. There we go.
Slap me.
I said hit the claps, not the slap.
It's not just any corner, it's Krista's Corner.
And you still tried to do it anyway. Just you hovered over it for a second after you said that. Like, I might just do it anyway, just for the fun of it.
No, I just was telling myself.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to talk about the name because I wanted to know as well. So, can you?
Now, aren't you going to do? Don't you have a corner first?
You have a corner, but you said
Zheng Yi Sao. She's also known as Shang Yi. She is later known as Ching Shih.
yeah, Ching Shih. But I can't talk.
But Ching Shih means Zheng Yi's widow.
Right. There was a word we were talking about pronouncing, so I thought it.
Oh, could be king, Qing.
Also, that's she.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Look,
Yes.
Lexi, what are you doing?
It's the Qing dynasty. I don't know. Lexi, stop.
Just leave it alone. Honey, it'll be fine. Just leave it there. It's our little Lexi trying to save the moths of the planet when they accidentally fly into the house.
Yep, that's our Lexi.
No, she doesn't really like moths.
No, she does. She wants it to be free.
Oh, fair enough.
That's the second one she's tried to free today. She put one outside this morning instead of squishing it.
Yeah. Anyway.
What's going on in your corner this week?
I figured since we're doing something that's a little more historical, I figured I'd just read some short horror stories to you guys.
Okay.
Okay.
This one is called Writing on the Wall by Erland J.
Okay.
A young boy lay sleeping in his bed when he heard footsteps outside his room. He peeked out of his eyes to see what was happening when his door swung open to reveal a murderer carrying corpses of his parents. After silently propping them up on a chair, he wrote something on the wall in blood of the dead bodies. He then hid under the child's bed. The child, scared beyond belief, he couldn't read the writing on the wall, and he knew the man was under his bed. Like any child, he pretended that he slept through the whole thing and hadn't woken up yet. He lay still as the bodies quietly during the breaths from under his bed. An hour passed, and his eyes got adjusted to the darkness. He tried making out the words, but it was a struggle. He gasped when he finally read out the sentence. I know you're awake. He said he read as he felt something shift under that.
Well,
Creepy.
interesting.
Creepy.
Yeah, it's a little creepy.
Can I just tell you how beautiful your mom is? Because you are. And I like talking about it from time to time. I rarely get to, compliment you on the podcast, so just let me.
Just have your own corner to do that. Be like, mom's so pretty. You need to be careful, then.
I am careful.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly.
That mostly is what gets you into trouble, sir. Do you have anything else for us, Krys?
Yes, I do.
Okay, you have another scary story?
Yeah.
Scary stories to tell by the Krys. Okay, go ahead. Actually, that was pretty good. It was very short, but pretty good.
I like it.
That was pretty good.
Because I think I'm pretty cool.
You're welcome.
Yep.
We didn't question why by the movie man. We didn't question why the small town we'd found after getting lost in the countryside wasn't on the map. We didn't question why the shopkeeper in town didn't have eyebrows or hair on his head. We didn't question why he looked so strangely, grittily at us. We didn't question why the gas station we stopped at was so cheap. We didn't question why the clerk at the station insisted on making a phone call in the back before ringing us up. We didn't question why the funny man outside our car let us know the sun was going down. We didn't question why so many bald people stood on the street, watching us frantically leave their town behind. We didn't question why we began pulling out our hair or why we decided to turn around and head back to town. We knew why.
Yeah, that's weird. I mean, yeah, and we've talked about some weird things, and that's weird.
Yeah, quite weird. I have two more for you today. This one is called. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. This one is called "The Old Man in the Well" by Hot Blooded 1988. Keith was 12 the first time the old man spoke to him. Keith was out playing after dark on the family's small farm near the well. The old well had beams supporting a rope and a pulley with a bucket attached. Even though Keith was told that the well ran dry before he was born, suddenly he heard someone say his name in a low, funky voice. Keith whirled around and saw no one. A look of confusion spread across his face as he heard it again. Keith! This time it was said with more force and a bit louder. The voice sounded like one of the old farmers who liked to smoke. Keith. Looking down the well, he heard the same voice asking, "Have you got anything tasty?" He couldn't see anything past the first 12 feet or so down the well, even though it was a soldier. "Who are you? How'd you get down here?" Keith asked. "If you give me something tasty, I'll reward you," replied the voice. All Keith had were some cookies he stuffed in his pocket and left to play. He put those in the bucket and lowered it. He had lowered it nearly 40 feet and was at the end of his rope when he no longer felt the weight of the bucket on the rope. 20 seconds passed and he felt the weight of the bucket again and began to pull the bucket up. As soon as he finished pulling the bucket up to the top, he heard the voice say, "No knife." He saw a reflection in the bucket and saw a rectangular piece of silver metal about the size of an army dog tag. It was completely flat and smooth. "Want fresh," the voice said, even though Keith tried to talk to the old man. There was no response. Keith made up a story about where he found the metal and took it to his father, who took it into town and confirmed it was 1 ounce of pure silver. After that, he kept it a secret. It took a while to discover that the old man was only there the night of full moon. He quickly learned that only live things put in the well would be rewarded, but only once for each item, and once every full moon. So one of each kind of animal was lowered down the well and rewarded. Keith now had a cigar box mostly full of silver pieces by the time he was 16, but had run out of different animals to get rewarded for. It was around this time that a local farmhand went missing. It was also the same time that Keith was rewarded with gold pieces for the first time. Once Keith took over the farm, hemp workers seemed to vanish every now and then without explanation. Farm. The old man had finally found something tasty enough to always reward.
Alrighty then.
Wow, that's a level of creepy.
Yeah, I think it is kind of something. I mean, imagine if you were in that situation, like you saw that down there. When you were 16, you think you did before you were 16, you think you would keep going? No, I don't care how rich I get from it. I'm not giving that. Like, no, no. Anyways, got one more to do, then we're done hearing me talk. Nope, we're not. Nope.
I was going to say, you have to read the next part. So,
Read the next part, but why not? We make it longer. This one is called "The Light by the Shadows You Fear."
all right.
We make fun of little kids for one thing, leaving the lights on everywhere. They turn lights on in every room as if it's some sort of security blanket. And if you ever force them to turn them off, they cry and scream, and eventually you give in. The only time they turn them off is when with their parents. They feel safe, so very safe. I'm the monster that lives in your closet. I'm friends with the one under your bed and the one in the shadows. When you see us, you flee to your mommy and daddy, but we're not here to hurt. We're here to protect you. If you think we're scary, you'll wait till you see their true form. They masquerade as one of you, and you can never tell. You humans must be blind. Your true monsters sleep just down the hall. They pretend to love you, but it won't last. They try to convince us to let them in, but don't worry. We really love you and we will protect you. So when you see a shadow flit or a figure in the closet, remember we are scary monsters to protect you from the human ones. So you're safe with us for now.
So that was kind of good.
Yeah.
I actually like that.
Yeah. It reminds me of a story I read in a Cthulhu anthology. Which sounds weird, but the story was that this woman was a daughter of Cthulhu, and she was going to get married, and like Cthulhu and all these monsters had to like go and make sure it was okay, and so they were threatening people and driving things insane. It was kind of funny. Yeah.
So moving from the corner, father.
Yes. Oh, wait. Yeah, we need. Sorry. There you go. No problem.
Now we are moving on to the next part, which is
Zheng Yi.
Zheng Yi. Zheng Yi was a pirate born from a family. Born from a family of pirates. His family had been pirates for several generations. Zheng Yi was born. Zheng, you're good. Okay. Zheng was born 10 years prior to his future wife's birth, and quickly made a name for himself as a clever and fierce pirate. At one point, he kidnaps the son of Tankin, of a Tankin boat captain. The boy's name was Ching Po,
Kung Po.
and he was just 15. Chung had become pirate. Chung became a pirate and turned out to be adapted for this career, and never. He was a popular crewman and quickly rose through the ranks. Meanwhile,
Zheng.
worked as a mercenary for the Chinese Navy and continued to be a pirate before fate brought him to Tangan Junk, a Chinese boat, where Shang Yi made her home.
Very nice. Yeah. So the salient points in that, and the important bits are Zheng Yi, pirate from a family of pirates. He kidnaps the son of a Tenkan boat captain named Shang Po and makes him into a pirate. Shang Po turns into actually a good pirate, uh, and he's beloved by other pirates. And then Zheng meets Shang Yi. So now that we have all of that, let's take a moment for a word from another podcast.
This is Edward October speaking. Do you have a podcast? Would you like to get a leg up on the competition by giving it a more professional sound? Contact Tara Voshell as co-host of Three Spooked Girls and as the Spooky Sleuth on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Tara has years of experience with recording, producing, editing, leveling, and marketing podcasts. And now she's offering her professional audio engineering services to you to take your indie podcast to the next level. Tara recently completed work on an upcoming October pod, and I cannot tell you how thrilled I am with the results. Contact her today at threespookedgirls@gmail.com. That's number 3, SPOOKEDGIRLS @gmail.com. Don't wait. Take your podcast to the cutting edge. Do it today.
Yes, it does.
So Ching met Shang. Met Shang in 1801, and he was immediately smitten by the bold 26-year-old. Furthermore, her ability to gather and sell information impressed him. The two dated and wed, and from that point on, Zheng became known as Zheng Yi Sao, or Zheng Yi's wife. Zheng Yi and his wife used his reputation, but his skill as a pirate and his wife's talent for collecting information to find a collection of ragtag boats from Canton into a ragtag fleet that was even able to withstand attacks by the Chinese Navy. Meanwhile, the couple adopted Chung Po, making him the pirate king's heir. She also bore him 2 sons,
And now let's take a moment for a word from our sponsors.
This man just tried to tickle me. Also, that sponsored sounded pretty cool.
All right.
It feels so sponsored that I'm gonna read this next one.
All right.
I feel like reading a lot today. Their pirate fleet had begun to grow. There's a period right there. That's why I paused. In size and became known as the Red Flag Fleet. The fleet at that point was roughly 300 ships and somewhere near 30,000 pirates. They besieged the island of Macau.
Macaw.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Macaw for several weeks before withdrawing lots of spoils. Several Chinese naval gunboats ambushed the fleet and only managed to capture or sink less than 30 boats. Dang. By 1806, nearly every ship on the coast was paying the pirates of the Red Flag Fleet
Ostensible.
protection money. In 1807, Zheng Yi died. No one is sure how he died. Some claim he died in a typhoon. Typhoon off the coast of Vietnam. Other claims he fell overboard in an accident. And still others claim that his wife or his adopted son, or his adopted heir, Ching Po, arranged for his death.
So, yeah, there's that. So, they're the Red Tag Fleet. And you have to understand, they're actually part of a larger fleet of ships because there's the Black Flag Fleet, there's the White Flag Fleet. So, there's several of these groups. It's a lot of pirates.
30,000.
Yes, yeah. So, after Zheng's death, Ching Shih, which means widow of Zheng, gathered the captains and of the other ships in the fleet. She introduced them to Cheng, nominally the leader of the fleet and Zheng's chosen heir. She confirmed their loyalty, and Cheng Po instituted what came to be known as the Pirates' Code. The code went as follows: if any pirate goes privately on shore, he shall be taken, his ears mutilated, he will be paraded around the fleet and executed. Not the least thing shall be taken privately. From the stolen and plundered goods, all shall be registered. The pirate receives for himself out of 10 parts only 2. 8 parts belong to the storehouse called the general fund. Those who steal anything out of this general fund shall be executed. Women captured from villages shall not be harmed or harassed. All women captives shall be registered, their place of origin recorded, and be given separate quarters. Those who sexually assault or commit adultery with the women captives shall be executed. While this may seem like a kindness, it was merely good business. If the women in question were ransomed, they needed to be in good shape when they were returned. If they were sold into slavery, particularly sex works, their sexual experience or lack thereof could mean more money. Ching Shih became the mind behind the great pirate fleet.
So in 1808, the pirates smashed 2 fleets commanded by the Chinese military, thereby reducing the provincial fleet by half and gaining access to the Pearl River. In 1809, a general attacked a small contingent of pirates. The general was surprised to see 10 ships with red flags come to the aid of the embattled pirates. Turning his attention to these newcomers, Ching Shih attacked with the bulk of the white and red flag fleet, smashed into the general's ship. destroying almost all of them and embarrassing the Chinese military yet again. Later, in July of that same year, the Chinese Navy attacked the White Flag Fleet, destroying over 20 plus ships. However, they failed to capture Qing or Zheng. Colonel Qing led her fleet in multiple raids, or her new lover, Chang Pao, her son, her
Yep.
adopted son,
Yeah.
cool, weird but cool, conducted bloody raids up the Pearl River, wiping out villages while raiding towns. Many ships of the pirate fleet were in Tung Chung Bay getting repairs when the bay was blocked off by a combined group of Chinese and Portuguese ships. Ching Shih had taken the personal ship of a local Portuguese magistrate on Macau, and they were eager to get payback. The blockade kept the pirate ships in because the wind was against them. However, the Chinese and Portuguese ships were not able to successfully attack the pirate ships. The combined fleet set several of their own ships on fire and sent them at the pirate ships. The pirate ships avoided the fire ships and the wind turned. One of the fire ships slammed into the combined ships, and the pirate ships were able to break out of the blockade. The combined fleet lost 3 ships. The pirates lost none.
By 1810, the pirates were ready to negotiate a surrender. Again, we don't know why. There are different theories, though. Some think Ching Shih could see the writing on the wall, and when Britain agreed to help patrol the area, Qing decided it was the best time to negotiate a surrender. Others think that Qing realized that Guangdong would legitimize their power as long as it put an end to their piracy. Whatever the case, Qing reached out to the authorities and agreed to a surrender of both her and her soon-to-be second husband. They would surrender their ships and their weapons. In return, they were each allowed to keep 20 to 30 ships as a personal fleet. They would also not be charged with a crime, and they were even given political and military titles. In fact, at one point, they would take out their personal fleets to help defend the province. By surrendering and taking political appointments, they also created a way for the pirates they employed to retire, keeping much of their personal wealth and taking positions of authority within Chinese society, and thus most of the pirate fleet retired peacefully as well. Qing gave birth to Cheng's son shortly after they surrendered and after they were officially wed. Eventually, Cheng passes while working as the commander of a military garrison. After he passed, Qing returned to Guangdong province, where she managed a popular gambling den until her death several years later. So, not only does this woman turn out to be one of the baddest pirates out there, but she surrenders
and is basically given a military appointment and a pat on the back for all her good work.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Hey, thank you for kicking our butts for the last decade. Why don't you come be part of us?
Well, to be...
I mean, it makes as much sense as anything. Sure, why not?
Continuing on the legacy of her husband.
Whom she might have killed. We don't know.
Killed that motor trucker just to be with their son.
Well, it wasn't their son, no. It was, I mean, he wasn't really that much younger than the other guy. I mean,
it wasn't.
Kidnapped him.
Okay, listen, okay. Her husband was older than she was. He was born like 10 years before her.
Right. So when they got married, she was 26-ish, he was 36-ish.
And the son was 16.
Chung Po at that point would have been 18-ish.
Why would you?
I don't appreciate that. It would be the same thing if it was a woman and a man. No, I don't appreciate how far apart they are.
It was also a different time. The 1800s was majorly.
Yeah, that's fair, but also that was your son. You were the protector of him.
But he wasn't a son.
He wasn't a son, but they still like provided most things for him, and they still treated him like a son.
No, they treated him like Zheng's heir. Other than that, they treated him like a pirate, which is what he was, and a great one. Good enough that he managed to carry on Zheng's legacy of this ruthless pirate.
I mean, yeah, obviously it was, but still, like that is still who took care of him.
Right, and I get where you're.
It bothers you that they adopted him and then she married him.
Yes,
I get that.
I get that too. She didn't marry any of the kids she had by him or by Zheng, so I can.
Yeah, that's fine, I suppose.
For the late 17 and early 1800s, I'm fine. I'm fine with it. On top of that, King.
See where is especially I can see where it definitely sounds weird, especially growing up in the world that we live in today. It doesn't make a lot of sense. So I can see that.
Well, and then the other thing is that Ching Shih has gone on to be quite a famous character. She appeared in one of the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. They just call her Captain Ching. But she is modeled off of Ching Shih. She appeared. Yeah, she appeared in the series Our Flag Means Death, and in fact, our good friends over at Pitney and Amelia's Bitchin' Boutique, when we put out the picture we did of her, he said she was. It was Amelia who responded, and she was like, "Is it pirates, or do I just see pirates everywhere?" Because she's big on Our Flag Means Death, and she's unhappy it was canceled. So, and I said, "No, well, it's a pirate, a specific one." And she said, "So, Zheng Yi Sao then?" And I was like, and I did a jaw drop because I didn't expect anybody to get it. And she's like, "Yeah, she was in Our Flag Means Death." So I knows her. But she's all. So, yeah, I mean, so like, and she's the only one who got it, but I was surprised anybody did. I thought this was going to be a week where we'd get nothing but bad guesses. So, yeah, but no, Amelia.
I love it when our friends get a chance.
And like, she's appeared in books and movies and stories. I mean, Ching Shih is a repeatedly used character, and it's always the same thing because she's a female pirate. But she's even better than that because most pirates, let's face it, don't end well. They get hung or stabbed or drawn and quartered, or they sink with the ship. She retired running a gambling den.
Like the goal for your level 20 adventures in D&D.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna take all your stuff and build an inn and retire and just hang out at the inn for the rest of your life,
Right. And like, and she held this group together for the longest time. The only time that they ever had a problem within the fleet is when they were hung up by the combined navy of the Chinese and the Portuguese. The Black Flag fleet was not in the bay that day, but he refused to come in because he thought it was too. The leader of the group refused to bring the fleet in, that Black Flag fleet in, because he thought it was too dangerous.
let her down.
Well, he also didn't retire and had a bad end. But
That's on.
so, maybe he should have paid attention to Zheng Yi's wife. And that's the other thing is, I wish there was a name she was known by that didn't mean Zheng Yi's wife or Zheng Yi's widow, because she certainly earned her own name. And then also I have to believe, like, I don't know, because we don't know, but I have to believe that she at least was a madam, if not an actual sex worker, because she had all this information. I mean, originally, that's what brought the fleet together, was that the pirate captains would come and carouse on the pleasure boat, where she was either a procurer or a sex worker, and she would collect their pillow talk. And so Zheng found out about that, and Zheng was able to go, hey, we know your secret. So you in? That's what I thought.
We know your secret, by the way.
So, and like I said, even at the end of her life, when she ran this gambling den, I'm willing to bet she was still collecting and selling secrets. And that may have been where her money came from. Plus, it was unheard of for private citizens to have private fleets as large as she and her second husband did.
That brings us to the end of our show.
Krys, do you have any final thoughts before we get there?
I'm sorry, I thought she did
I did what I thought I did what I had to say.
Did you have anything else you wanted to say? Because this was your idea, and I
think she's a really cool person.
I think she's amazing.
She's really interesting. I mean, girl power, girl. If that's what you want to do, do it.
Yeah, especially with the Chinese Empire. I mean,
yeah. With how much she fought, like, being on her own without her husband, like, after she lost her husband, still fighting. Ooh.
Yep. So that's our show. Thanks for listening. Thanks for keeping us in the Good Pods Top 100. Love getting those emails every week. Thanks to Bill Berendt. That last name is spelled Behrendt. Bill does our theme music. If you need music for a project or someone to play an event, Bill's your guy. You can reach him at Bill Berendt at sbcglobal.net. Also, thanks to Paige Elmore, formerly of the Reverie Crime Podcast. In addition to recording several episodes of one of the best true crime podcasts out there, Paige also combined her Canva addiction with our own Krista's artwork to create some logo art for us. Thank you, Paige.
Thank you.
Thanks to Aaron Gnerk of the Big Dumb Fun Show. Join our Facebook group. That every week that place gets more and more interesting, and I get to add some more and more cool people to it. So that's nice. And join us next week as we look into American author Ambrose Bierce in another interesting show.
Oh.
Yeah, he was probably the greatest writer before the 1900s. Bye. Bye.